YouTubers that left us to rot on the platform. Totally kidding, but we are going to be talking about 5 fashion YouTubers specifically that just don't even post anymore because maybe they're off doing better things. It's your boy Keezy. It ain't easy being Keezy. Let's get it. Honestly, I don't even know if I should have put this person on the list because he's a legend, okay? We're talking about Jacob Keller, all right? And I say a legend because Jacob Keller walked so other people can run. Maybe not me, because my channel's not growing that fast. You know, other people, so to speak, that have larger channels than mine. But yes, it's quite unfortunate he doesn't post anymore. In fact, he hasn't posted in maybe over a year or something like that. I can't remember when his last video was. But let me give you my side story to this because I jumped into this YouTube thing maybe almost about 3 years now, give or take. And when I first started watching YouTube, I didn't automatically see Jacob Keller's videos. And I also didn't really know much about fashion YouTubers from back in the day, about the Karmaloop days, Plender unboxings and stuff like that. When I was buying clothes back then, I wasn't really going on YouTube for reference or for advice. And it wasn't until a year and a half into making this channel where I started kind of gathering a little bit more information and seeing what people were talking about, and everyone always kept bringing up Jacob Keller's name. Then finally found out who he was and why his channel was so important. And I think when it comes down to those conversations of like, oh man, I wish he still posts now and all this other kind of stuff, you know, honestly, I hope that he doesn't post consistently. And I say that in a positive way because it's better for him not to be on the platform anymore, straight up. I mean, if you think about it, people use YouTube as that first stepping stone to get their foot in the door for other opportunities, right? No different than maybe this channel, no different than any other channel, not even fashion related. It could be non-fashion related. YouTube is that stepping stone. And Jacob Keller was the one to pave the way for a majority of us. I know there's some other names in there that are mixed in there, and some of them are actually still around today that started kind of around the same time. But the step process he took of starting the channel and being willing to put himself out there on YouTube before we even knew what this whole fashion YouTuber space was exactly. And he did it, and then eventually started his brand, branched off, and he now owns Bare Knuckles. Bare Knuckles being a very successful clothing brand name. So again, when I say I hope he doesn't come back to YouTube, I mean it in a good way because I would rather see someone like him or anyone else in his shoes to pursue different opportunities. Trust me, you don't want to be staring into a ring light and talking by yourself into a camera for too long. You're gonna want to let those wings go and you're gonna want to fly like Jacob Keller. Okay, let's move on to number 2. Okay, so next up, we got someone that actually inspired me to make this video as well as many other videos that I have made on this channel. Trend videos, you name it, all right? And that would be Mr. Ford Hat himself, Alex. I don't really know how to pronounce your last name. Zavalos? Zavallos? This is one of those. It's one of those. I'm not sure. But shout out to Alex, man. Really cool guy. I chat with him all the time. Really down-to-earth person. But I got to put him on the list because he don't post no more. Sometimes he might show up on a live or two, on my live or on AO's live at the Fashion Archive, you know what I mean? But not an actual video. I think one of his last videos was sometime last year. I don't know what day it ended on. But I gotta say, it's an ongoing thing that a lot of people message my boy Alex asking him to post again. Alex, when are you coming back to YouTube? I'm gonna say this before I kind of keep going on Alex, right? If you're not familiar with his channel, I'm gonna say this. I get his position and his mindset. If I can think of his mindset correctly as far as how he feels about posting onto YouTube, all right? Look, if you're not into it, you're not into it. You dig what I'm saying? Like, if your head is not there, you're not there, bro. It's like you shouldn't post if it feels forced. And I'll be honest, there's some days for myself too, I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna take 2 steps back. I'm gonna pedal backwards real quick because I don't feel like posting today. You know, I mean, I could probably put out 2 videos a day if I really pushed hard enough, but I kill myself. Fuck that. So I mean, I get it, and I get the shoes that he's in right now. I just hope, and I'm not trying to push this too much like everyone else is, for you to come back to YouTube. But I mean, I do wish you did come back to YouTube, right? I mean, there's a part of me that does. I mean, I get it that if you don't, but the only part of me that does wish you come back is because you paved the way for a lot of people on YouTube right now. There are a lot of newer channels right now that are blowing up right now. FHTV, Tripping, Frugal Aesthetic. I mean, God, there's so many channels out there that wouldn't be what they are if Alex's channel didn't exist. I'm gonna say this too, I'm gonna put this on wax, and I don't think anybody talks about this other than me talking to Alex. That Alex, from my understanding, was the first person to get on YouTube talking about trends. Fashion trends, dudes like worst fashion trends, those type of videos. Like, I got those ideas from him. Straight up. I got those ideas from him. Also, when I first started watching any type of content, fashion content on the platform, it would be Alex's channel. Straight up. You know what I'm saying? So like, the person that inspired me to like make the type of content that I make, it would be dope for you to be back on the platform. But again, I get it. You know, I totally understand. If your mindset is not there, it's just not there, and it's not right. And or he could be cooking up some shit and he's not telling us. He didn't say anything. You know what I mean? He's keeping it under wraps right now. I don't know what's going on. It could be though. It could be. But again, if he ain't coming back, he ain't coming back though. We all just want to see the Ford hat, man. At this point, I feel like people already know who I'm going to talk about. There's not that many people that stopped YouTube, all right? But the next person we got up is going to be none other than the archive god. It's going to be Fernando, all right? Shout out to Fernando. Yeah, and shout out to the whole clique, you know, Fernando, Jacob Wallace, Trevor, and all them. And when I first started watching YouTube, especially when I first started my channel, I ran into Alex first. Then I found Jacob Wallace. I wanted to put Jacob on this list, but he still posts like every month, so he's in the clear. He doesn't deserve to be on this list. But then I found Fernando's channel, and I was watching them a lot, and I was taking a lot of notes on both of those channels. And I was like, man, how can I take some of these topics and then apply it to like my own channel, so to speak, right? So big shout out to both of them. They both have left a really good mark in fashion YouTube itself. But I think before I move on, I think one of the best things I took away from Fernando's channel is, and many other channels too, is very similar, is that he really spoke into existence what people know him for. No different than, you know, Alex for the Ford hat, right? You know Jacob Keller for being the person that was like so legendary for doing what he did to what he's doing now, right? Starting Bare Knuckles. When I think of Fernando, I think of someone that just like constantly kept posting and posting and posting about Japanese archive stuff when nobody even really knew what the hell this Japanese archive shit was. Like, honestly, I didn't. I had no idea. I was like, what? I was like, Japanese? I was like, what? Didn't this shit only happen like 15 years? Like, why do you want this stuff? And then I was like, oh, okay, got it. And then he was kind of educating people on it, and he was giving the meaning behind it. I'm like, okay, for sure, I get it. You know what I'm saying? So he really kind of spoke into existence like, yo, archive, Fernando, boom, that is me. And this is like, you know, this is my brand now that I'm starting, right? So he really went down that road, and I don't know what words to use there, but he did it right. He did it right. Shout out to Silver League, shout out to Fernando. He put together a really solid channel, and then now has a really solid brand, and kind of gives hope for people like myself. Alright, so another gentleman to add to this list when it comes to YouTubers that don't post anymore, it's gonna be Magnus. I mean, to this day, if you look through his comment section, it's still people asking him to post on YouTube, and it's like, do you understand that this man is like moved on at this point? Or maybe he is gonna come back to YouTube, I don't know. Again, he's another example of somebody that he doesn't need to come back. Does he need to come back? I don't think he does. The guy, he has his own brand called Ronning at this point. I don't know how many collections he's dropped at this point, but he seems to be doing okay. All right, he seems to be doing just fine. But Magnus is someone, for myself, I caught onto his channel way later on, and kind of discovered him for his like comedic relief, so to speak. And so I think since he doesn't post anymore, I think it's fair to say that, or for myself, if I were to just speak in my shoes, watching his content, is that, yeah, he uses a lot of comedy to talk about fashion, but at the same time, you still learn a lot with his channel. You know what I'm saying? Because honestly, sometimes you need comic relief to step back and look at your own wardrobe, and or your own mindset when you think about some of the stuff that you wear, because sometimes it could be contradicting. But once you start watching his channel, you kind of learn that it's okay to kind of laugh at yourself too. I mean, not to say that there's not other meme type fashion channels out there, but he was one of the first for me that I was watching that used a lot of memes to talk about fashion. And it, you know, again, it's quite educational stuff. All right, last up, we got Pingy. Yeah, that's right. I didn't forget about Pingy, even though Pingy left us twice already, or once, twice. I don't know how many times he left, but the fact is that Pingy is a legend, man. Talk about a channel that really did it his own way. Like he would talk about brands that everyone else wore, but he was really someone that did it entirely his own way. Like nobody can replicate Pingy. Like you can replicate other channels, you know what I'm saying? Like if you wanted to dress like Alex, you just put the Ford hat on. If you want a channel like Fernando's, you just, you know, talk about hella archive. You know what I'm saying? But when it comes to Pingy, nobody can replicate this man's, not style, but his personality. That man's personality is, I ain't never seen nothing like that, especially on fashion YouTube before, never. But shout out to Pingy, man. I don't know if Pingy, you know, watches my channel or not. Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. But yeah, man, as I remember it, Pingy was pretty consistent in racking in a lot of views for the time, from what I remember. And then he left, and then all of a sudden he came back, and then he dropped his clothing brand name. He's like, hey guys, I got a brand. And then he bounced, and we never saw him again. And maybe he did that twice. Did he do it twice? I have no idea, man. I don't even know what's going on. Maybe he's finna come back and he finna drop the bomb and be like, boom, like either here's a new brand name or some shit like that, or he gonna drop a whole new collection and be like, bow, and then you never gonna hear from him again. You know what I'm saying? So, but hey, look, listen, when it comes to Pingy though, anytime you come back, I'm finna watch, bruh. I'm gonna watch. You know what I mean? It's Pingy. It's Pingy. But by closing this out, I think the last thing I'll say is that I know I'm kind of poking fun at some of what had happened with some of these channels and some of these people, but honestly, all of them are inspiring, straight up. You know, a lot of these channels, especially Jacob Keller and the rest of them that I mentioned here today, you know, channels like mine wouldn't exist without these ones that had happened, straight up. And a lot of these, if you think about it, are within like fashion YouTube eras. Like each one is kind of a certain era. And I guess now we're embarking in a new era with different YouTubers, and a lot of them are killing it right now. There's a lot of channels that are killing it out there right now. But we'll save that information for another video. So if you can, comment below, let me know which ones I missed. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you guys and girls keep it locked, from clothing, music to culture. It's your boy Keezy, and I'll see you next time. Peace. Oh yeah, by the way, I didn't wear a black shirt today. Wow, holy shit. I've been wearing a black shirt in like the past 20 videos. It's like, does this man have any other colored shirts than black? Jesus.
You want to do, and it's just gonna take a minute, but it's gonna work out. Like if you try to cut corners and you put costumes on and do shit, yeah, you gonna get straight, but at what cost? You know what I'm saying? And how you feel when you do this shit for you, 100% for you. You could grind and stay up for 5 or 6 days and not really be tired because it's for you.